Coronavirus lockdowns, reduced interest rates, what next? And well, you may ask, with big changes, they mean big threats and big opportunities if you've got your eyes open. Now, the experienced property people will tell you that when there's blood in the streets, buy property. Now, this is something that true the world over. When there's blood in the streets, buy property. I'm Neil Forster from Organic Growth. Now, I've been talking to many of my coaching clients and investors, and we've been looking at a way forward. Where to from here? What's going to happen? And specifically in the rental buy-to-let property market. And before I get into today's topic, please feel free to comment below and ask questions. I hope you can hear me over this high-felt thunderstorm that is starting up outside. But ask questions. I'll answer them either in videos like this or in the comment section below. And if you find this video helpful, please share it. Maybe somebody will benefit from this content. Somebody who's thinking, what now? So let's get into the topic of today's video. What can we expect from this global crisis? Oh, I see a whole lot of people are joining me. Obviously, a whole lot of people are at home in lockdown or whatever, they're social distancing, and I see more people than usual watching me on Facebook Live. So welcome. Please leave your comments below as you come on board. So let's get into the topic. What can we expect from this current global crisis? The most notable effects that I'm going to talk about is in the rental property market. If you're a buy-to-let investor, then you're probably asking yourself these same questions. So I'm going to explore some of the factors and give you my opinion. And I'm sure my opinion is not the whole story, but I hope to stimulate your. Oh wow, that's a good one. Hope to stimulate your thinking. The trouble with fear is that it blinds you, and you make irrational decisions. And afterwards you think, why didn't I see that opportunity, or why did I make that decision? So let's talk about the first thing. The most obvious thing is social distancing. What are the various knock-on effects? I don't think this world has ever seen a situation where all over the world people are facing, they're either in lockdown already or it's looming. People saying it's going to happen, and maybe they rush up and buy toilet paper and a couple of tins of food. I don't know what you're all doing. But what is happening is that people are being forced to spend inordinate amount of time at home. They're either homeschooling their children, or their children doing extra long holidays, depending on your school type. And people being forced to stay at home through social responsibility, or because the government has said to you, stay at home. It's going to have an effect on the rental property market. For example, if you have a group of three youngsters sharing a flat, and it worked fine. They saw each other in the evenings. They all went off to work. They saw each other in the evenings, maybe a bit on the weekends. But now they've been forced into staying together 24/7. And I think they're going to pull their hair out and say, "What now? How can I live with this?" And they're going to say, rather than save a little bit of money by sharing, I'm going to take my own apartment, go and look for a one-bedroom apartment. So if I had a one-bedroom apartment right now, I'd be smiling, but mine are all let. And then the other thing is, people who are working from home, you try working from home in a situation where you don't have privacy, where you don't have a spare room. You've got your spouse probably at home and your children. And children they'll just run in the middle of your teleconference and tell you that they need to go to the toilet. So they don't have a concept. So you may just need a study. So people who are living in 2-bedroom apartments are going to be looking for a 3-bedroom apartment. And the amount of money they're saving on all the transport, they're going to be paying in rental. And who's going to score? That's the landlord. So the result of the social distancing I see is going to be an increase in demand for residential property. And with increasing demand goes increase in rentals. The next thing I want to talk about is the fear factor, the fear of the unknown. Fear results in paralysis often. People just say, you're paralyzed in fear, don't know what to do, so we do nothing. So rather than you get a young couple, rather than going to buy a new apartment, they'll rent. They say, let's rent until everything blows over. And the result is an increase in demand in the rental market. And we saw this back in the year 2000, 2001 in South Africa, when there had been a massive rental interest rate spike in the 1989, 1990 1998, 1999, there was a massive increase in the interest rates as the new government was trying to protect the rand and so forth. So they increased interest rates. And so what it did is it put a massive amount of fear into the market, and new buyers were saying, look, I'm terrified of, thanks Josephine, agreeing with me here, she was around to see it all. People are saying, I would just rather not buy. I'd rather rent. And because if the interest rate increases by 7%, your mortgage payment almost doubles. It's massive, and people were getting into all kinds of trouble. And then right on the back of that, 9/11 happened. So whether you were living in America or in South Africa or anywhere in the world, you were thinking, oh wow, I know I personally thought the sleeping giant of America has awoken, and something is going to happen. And whether we're going to plunge into world war or local wars, there was a lot of instability and fear in the market. And with those two factors, they created the perfect storm in South Africa, where it was fantastic to buy rental properties. And that's when I started buying my properties. In fact, I bought my first buy-to-let investment property, I think it was 4 or 5 weeks after 9/11. And at the time, I was just thinking I could see the opportunity, and the opportunity was just too good to miss, so I started buying. Okay, so let's move past fear and let's look at new developments. What are the developers doing? And I know that already in our country, in South Africa, the developers have stopped because the economy's been a bit tight, so less and less people have been buying their properties, and so the developments have stopped or slowed down significantly. And I think any astute developer right now will say, well, let's just put the brakes on, because there are not that many buyers in the market, and they're going to struggle to offload their stock. So what's it going to do? It's going to create more of a demand for us buy-to-let investors, because there's going to be less stock coming onto the market, and so what's there is going to become more and more valuable. So your rentals are going to go up again. And then, as we've all seen, interest rates. Let's talk interest rates. In South Africa, interest rates went down last week by 1%. In America, they're at all-time lows. And what this does, just short and sweet, it's going to put more money in your pocket as an investor, because your mortgage rate goes down, and you're paying less in interest, and the tenant's still paying the same rental, so the gap between the rental and your interest increases, and it's more cash in your pocket. And then another thing which not many people see, excuse me, is mortgage finance or home loan financing. What we need to realize is that the banks actually make money lending money. So you see it. I mean, why would they advertise a home loan or a mortgage if they weren't going to make money out of it? So that's their business. And when there's fear in the market and uncertainty, a lot of people don't buy. They rather rent. So what are the banks going to do? They're going to try and stimulate borrowing. So they're going to offer deals. You're going to see, you just watch your local press and see what the banks are advertising. You will see that they're going to start actively advertising new deals, more creative ways of lending you more money. Because when they lend you money, they make money. And we know as buy-to-let investors, when we borrow money from the bank, we make money with it. So the result of this is that the mortgage financing is going to become easier. So, I'm just watching this if you're a buy-to-let investor, this is a perfect storm, and it's quite funny that we have a storm raging outside. Yes, there is a worldwide crisis, and yes, that's all real, but it's going to blow over, and then you'll see who made good decisions during this time, and those good decisions are you need to be able to look to buy the right type of property. You need to be able to buy it in the right place. You need to be able to get your timing right. You need to pay the right price. And that's what we do in organic growth. We coach people, teach people how to do this for themselves. And if you're interested in hooking up with us and seeing how to buy the right kind of property at the right time, right place, right price, then I'll leave a link below, and you can come see what coaching services we offer. And then before I end off, I just want to say that in the next few days, I'm going to be doing another video, and I'm going to look at new ways of making money. Things have changed. Things have actually changed, and there are a whole lot of new opportunities out there. And you might be sitting at home watching this video thinking that your job is at peril, that you might lose your job because your job requires X, Y, Z, and that's not going to be available or possible now. So you might be looking at an alternative way to make money. So we're going to look at those. I've put a couple of ideas out there. I know a friend of mine who's just started a business literally last week, and he said to me it's so hectic because he's supplying vitamin C. He's found massive demand for vitamin C. He knows that there's a demand for it, and he started a business. And I phoned him this morning, and he was like, he said, I've got so many orders, I don't quite know what to do with it. So there are lots of opportunities in a time like this. It's time to be positive, not to be negative. And till my next video, thanks for watching. And please, it's not too late to comment and ask questions below. I'll get to every single question. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.